And I don't know why, but when I actually went to graduate school in North Carolina, there was a great deal of discussion in several classes about the history of the kindergarten movement. And I vaguely remember something about the first public kindergarten being somewhere in the northern Midwest. And lo and behold, here we are. But I was trying to think of some, I don't know, some really pungent words this morning, and I happened to read the Oshkosh Times piece and a quote from Lane Ernst, our provost. And I thought, you know, I don't think I can say this any better. For 140 years, our institution has been a leader in developing groundbreaking academic programs that prepare the very best teachers. The dedication of Swart Hall and the unveiling of the new historical marker acknowledge our 19th and 20th century innovations in teacher education and remind us of our commitment to remain at the forefront of how we prepare teachers in the 21st century. That's what Swart Hall did, that's what Nursing Ed does today, and that's what we're here, I think, to acknowledge this morning. So.
And I think what's significant is that the citizens of Oshkosh welcomed these priestesses and gave them the opportunity to hone their teaching skills, to develop their expertise. They all went on to do wonderful things with their experiences here. They trained additional kindergartners along the way. And although that kindergarten ended here in 1886, when the Board of Regents terminated financial support, the idea had been soundly planted throughout the area, and it didn't take long for the kindergarten idea to become incorporated in the Oshkosh public school system and eventually reestablished in the Oshkosh Normal School.
You know, when you think about it, the first kindergarten in a public university in America was really our first, national first, and a long legacy of national first. And so the interesting thing is it runs from the first kindergarten in a public university to the first dry fermentation anaerobic biodigester in the Americas, right? And everything in between. That's pretty amazing. But it really is a testimony to a long legacy of excellence and creativity and innovativeness, and hearing the stories of the real people that made these work. And a number of them are moving around a lot. You're trying to find them and where did they go and so on, because they were in high demand. These were people that were doing very innovative, very creative things, pioneers, groundbreaking kinds of folks. And it's very important to remember those people. So having this opportunity to rededicate Swart Hall is really a reflection of and honoring of the people that have gone through this building in all number of ways since the lab school movement itself.
And in 4th grade, we studied French. And I suspect we were the only 4th graders in 1950, maybe in America, who started the day with Alouette or Frere Jacques. I'm not sure, but I'll tell you, I'm not going to sing them for you, I'm going to spare you, but I still remember what I learned in my French class in 4th grade, and the experience stimulated a love of languages, and I have continued that throughout my life. I have another guy who just loved living abroad and took us to Latin America, and I was able to tune into languages there fairly easily. So that was a great beginning. In the upper grades, we were learning botany, biology, chemistry, algebra, Western civilization, art, literature, history. They really put it to us. And of course, we have great facilities here as well. We had a cafeteria, we had a theater, we had a lecture hall, we had a music room. It was a wonderful, wonderful place to go to school.
Another thing that I remember about the little theater was that when John F. Kennedy was running for president, he was going to speak in the little theater. But it was so crowded with all the college students here that the janitor and I went out into the projection booth and watched it out of the projection booth where they used to show the movies. So that was really something else.
But anyway, I started in the kindergarten, which was down this hall, the last room to the left. And it was characteristic of an ultra-modern new school building that had been built back, I think, in the 20s. We even had our kindergarten bathroom with small fixtures and all that stuff. Some of you remember that. But I have many, many fond memories of this place. Kindergarten, we had a tricycle that we used to zoom around inside the kindergarten room. And we had new student teachers every 6 weeks. In those days, student teaching was not at all the kind of experience it is now, where they're full-time for a whole semester. We had new ones for 6 weeks, and they would come in besides their other classes. So it was easy to terrorize them. But
First class of 25 pupils became another hallmark of the proud and storied laboratory school on Oshkosh campus. Housed first in the same buildings as college classroom, the school then was provided a dedicated building, today's Swart Hall, in 1928. Led by master teachers and based both on the traditional practices and emerging techniques and theories, the laboratory school, which was known by many names during its history, afforded area school children a unique educational experience. The school provided teachers in training and the opportunity to hone their newly learned educational skills under faculty supervision. These teachers in turn moved across the state to educate generations of Wisconsin youth. Ultimately, the school and the kindergarten were phased out in the early 70s, and the student teaching was conducted exclusively off campus. Dedicated October 2011, but I think it just speaks volumes. The legacy of our outreach has continued to this day forward. I would invite one of you to help Dean Mayo, if you'd like to come forward and unveil the plaque.